Joseph is one of the most important and inspiring figures in the Bible. His story is found in the book of Genesis, chapters 37 to 50, and it shows how God can turn suffering into purpose and evil intentions into good outcomes. Joseph was the 11th son of Jacob and the first son of Jacob's beloved wife, Rachel. Because Joseph was born when Jacob was old and was the son of the wife he loved most, Jacob favored him above his other sons. To show his love, Jacob gave Joseph a special robe, often described as a coat of many colors. This favoritism caused deep jealousy and hatred among Joseph's brothers, who felt rejected and unfairly treated. Joseph's situation became worse when he began to have dreams. In one dream, Joseph and his brothers were tying sheaves of grain, and his sheaf stood upright while the others bowed to it. In another dream, the sun, moon, and 11 stars bowed down to him. When Joseph shared these dreams with his family, his brothers believed he was claiming that one day he would rule over them. Even his father was troubled, although Jacob kept these things in mind. The dreams increased the brothers' anger and desire to get rid of Joseph. One day, Jacob sent Joseph to check on his brothers, who were tending sheep far from home. When the brothers saw Joseph approaching, they plotted to kill him. However, Reuben, the oldest brother, suggested throwing Joseph into a pit instead, planning to rescue him later. The brothers stripped Joseph of his robe and threw him into an empty pit. Later, while Reuben was away, the brothers saw a group of traders traveling to Egypt. Judah suggested selling Joseph rather than killing him. The brothers agreed and sold Joseph as a slave. They then dipped his robe in animal blood and showed it to Jacob, making him believe that Joseph had been killed by a wild animal. Jacob was heartbroken and mourned Joseph deeply. Joseph was taken to Egypt, where he was sold to Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh and captain of the guard. Even as a slave, Joseph worked faithfully, and God was with him. Potiphar noticed that everything Joseph did succeeded, so he put Joseph in charge of his entire household. Joseph became trusted and respected. However, Joseph's life took another painful turn. Potiphar's wife falsely accused him of wrongdoing after Joseph refused to act as even though Joseph was innocent, he was thrown into prison. This was another great injustice, but once again, God did not abandon him. In prison, Joseph gained favor with the prison keeper and was put in charge of the other prisoners. While in prison, Joseph met Paro, Escobera, and Baker, who had been imprisoned after offending the king. Both men had troubling dreams, and Joseph explained them. He told the cupbearer that he would be restored to his position, and the baker that he would be executed. Both interpretations came true. Joseph asked the cupbearer to remember him, but after being released, the cupbearer forgot Joseph for 2 years. 2 years later, Pharaoh himself had disturbing dreams about 7 healthy cows eaten by 7 thin cows, and 7 good ears of grain swallowed by 7 thin ones. None of Pharaoh's wise men could explain the dreams. Then the cupbearer remembered Joseph and told Pharaoh about him. Joseph was brought out of prison to interpret the dreams. Joseph explained that the dreams meant 7 years of abundance, followed by 7 years of severe famine. He advised Pharaoh to store grain during the good years to prepare for the famine. Pharaoh recognized Joseph's wisdom and said that God had given him understanding. Pharaoh then appointed Joseph as second in command over all Egypt, placing him in charge of preparing the nation. Joseph was given authority, fine clothes, and a new name, and he married and had 2 sons. When famine spread across the land, people from many countries came to Egypt to buy food. Among them were Joseph's brothers, who did not recognize him. Joseph recognized them immediately. He tested them to see whether they had changed since the day they sold him. Eventually, after seeing their remorse and concern for their youngest brother, Benjamin, Joseph revealed his identity. He wept and forgave them. Joseph told his brothers that, although they had intended to harm him, God had used their actions for good to save many lives. He invited his father Jacob and the entire family to move to Egypt, where they were given land and food. Jacob rejoiced when he learned that Joseph was alive and later blessed his sons before his death. After Jacob died, Joseph's brothers feared that he might punish them, but Joseph reassured them, saying, "You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good." Joseph continued to care for his family until his death. The story of Joseph teaches powerful lessons about faith, patience, forgiveness, and trust in God. It shows that even when people suffer unjustly, God can use those experiences to bring about a greater purpose. Joseph's life reminds readers that hardships do not define the end of the story, and that forgiveness and faith can lead to restoration and hope